Hello, my name is Charlie Redding and I'm the founder of Efficient Portfolio. Now, perhaps unsurprisingly, one of the most commonly asked questions we get are, what are our fees? What's the cost of getting the advice of Efficient Portfolio? Now, unlike most of our companies, we're going to give you this in an open and transparent way at every stage we possibly can, including on a website here. So I want to talk you through our process and the advice and the costs at each stage in this pretty short video. So firstly, let's have a look at the process that we lead each client through, because there's different costs associated with each stage. Now, the first stage in our process is what we call the free finance call. It's around about a 15-minute call with one of the financial planners here at Efficient Portfolio. And as the name suggests, it's free. So we'll do that with anybody. We want to do that to have a chance to understand whether we can help you, make sure we're the right firm for you, but also to be able to identify the best advisor within Efficient Portfolio to help you. So as I say, we'll do that call with anybody, and that's free of charge. If you want to do that face-to-face over a coffee as well, we're very happy to do that at our Oakham or our London office. The next stage of our process is what's called the exploration meeting. So this is really about making sure that firstly you understand how we work, but then making sure that you understand where you're at today in your financial journey, but most importantly, understand what's important to you in the future, because only once we all have a clear understanding of that can we help you create a plan for that. The cost for the exploration meeting is almost always free of charge. We used to charge £197 for this meeting, but in recent years we found that almost all of the time, because we get most of our clients through referrals or events, though that meeting is free of charge. So we've just made it free of charge for everybody now. Now, at the end of that meeting, which is usually around an hour and a half of a financial planner's time, then they'll be able to tell you what the cost of the next stage is. Because if you want our advice and guidance after that meeting, then we'll go away and build you your own bespoke, efficient financial plan. We charge a flat fee to do that work, and we're able to tell you at the end of the exploration meeting what that fee is, just as soon as we know what work's involved. That fee typically ranges from £500 up to £3,000, depending on the complexity and the time that it's going to take to build that plan. It's not dependent on the value of your assets at this stage. The fee to do the efficient financial plan is covered by a 100% money back guarantee. So even if you were to get the plan and to think, what on earth are these idiots on about? Then no questions asked, you can have your money back. And included in the plan fee is also the cost to take care of a planning meeting. So once you've had a chance to read the plan, which we'll send you both electronically and in the post, then you'll get back together with your financial planner and spend time going through it to make sure that A, you understand everything that you've read, B, that they can answer any questions that you've got, look at different scenarios on things like the lifetime cash flow forecast if we've built you one of those, and just make sure that you can make some decisions around which bits you like and which bits you want to move forward with. Now, if at the end of the financial plan you like some of our ideas, then what we'll do is we'll go away and implement those ideas for you. And in the plan, what we will do is we'll give you a clear breakdown of what those fees are. And I'm going to come on to those in a second. But the final stage of our process, because a lot of firms just then let you drift off into the ether and they forget that actually that means that your financial planning gradually stagnates over time. So we want to see our clients regularly. And so we have what's called the Progressive Review Program, because this ensures their financial planning evolves with them. So let's have a look at how our fees work in the implementation stage. So this is the fees that will be detailed in the plan. In a way, if you think about this like building a house, you've got three layers. You've got the plan fee, which is the flat fee, and that's a bit like the architect's fee. That's like getting the architect to design the house that you want to build. The implementation fees, which are all detailed in the plan once we know what the advice is, and they're broken out really clearly in the plan, are like building the house. They're the cost for the builders and all of the different people involved and all the contractors. That's the cost of building it. And as I say, that'll be detailed clearly in the plan. But finally, if you just then leave your house as is, it will gradually deteriorate. So the progressive review program is how we ensure your house, your financial house as it were, continues to get better and better and better. So as I said, the first meeting is free of charge. That's after the first free call. The plan fee is a flat fee between £500 and £3,000. The implementation fees is where I want to go into next, because that's where people get a bit confused because they are quite complicated. So let's have a look at what they are for investments, because that's the one that people most commonly ask us about, is how much do you charge Charlie as a firm if I'm investing money with you? Well, we have a fee structure that means that our fees are always exactly the same regardless of the approach or the product that we're using. That's the only way I can see that we can be truly independent. So our investment fees, regardless of what we're putting you into, are 3% on the first 100,000, 2% on the next 200,000, 1.7% up to £1 million, and 0.7% above £1 million. So when you invest new money with us, that is the fee that you will pay. Usually it will come off the front of the investments, particularly if it's from your pensions. We want to take that from the pension because that means you're getting tax relief on the cost of our advice. But that'll come out at the start of our investing money for you. Now it's important to say that unlike a lot of firms, if during the course of being a client of ours, we choose then to move you from one investment to another, we never charge those fees again on the same money. So you won't pay that twice, which unlike a lot of firms, once you get to the end of a 5-year contract, they put you into something new, and guess what? They take those fees all over again. That is not the case with Efficient Portfolio. You only pay those fees once. Sometimes people ask us, can they have a discount? The discount is already built in. The more you invest with us as a firm, the lower the percentage gets. And then let's have a look at how this works in reality. Because there's actually more people involved than just Efficient Portfolio, isn't there? You know, there's the people that invest your money, there's the people that have custodianship of the money, and then there's the underlying investments that they're in. So there's actually 4 different people involved. And let's look at a typical example of what it might look like if you come to us as a client. Now, of course, this is different for everybody, but a typical example of somebody that's investing under £1 million. So we've got 4 different people involved. We've got the platform. Now we're looking at the moment at just initial fees. The initial fee for going to almost all the platforms we use is 0%. Then we have a discretionary manager, the person that controls where your money goes. The initial fee for them is 0% too. Then we have the underlying funds or investments that they put you into, whether those be direct shares or funds. The initial charge for going into those is almost always, again, 0% because of the way that we invest for our clients. That's not often the case, but that is the way that our clients benefit from it. Then there's Efficient Portfolio's initial fees. Those are the fees I've just been through with you, the 3% on the first 100,000 down to 0.7% above £1 million. So that initial fee that I just described is the only initial fee you pay to anybody when you're investing through Efficient Portfolio. With the odd exception, occasionally there's some really unusual investments that we want to use for particular tax planning. Sometimes they do have an initial fee, but almost always that they don't. If we look at a couple of comparators in the market, if you were to go direct to one of the funds that is in the portfolio as we speak and has been for the last 9 years, then the initial charge of going direct to that fund would be 5%. If you were to go to one of the largest firms of financial advisors in the country, then you would pay an initial charge of between 4.5 and 5% on all investments. So our 3% running down to 0.7% is actually very competitive as far as the market goes. But of course there's ongoing fees to pay. You know, these other people need to get paid at some point for holding and investing your money. So let's have a look at the ongoing fees, because of course all of these other parties, the people that hold your money, the people that invest your money, have charges associated with them. So let's break it down into those 4 components again. The platform fee might typically be between 0.2 and 0.3% per annum. And that's for investments up to £1 million. If the investments are above £1 million, then we can get that fee down significantly lower than that. But that's a typical platform fee. We've then got the discretionary manager, the investment manager that chooses where to put your money in out of all the choices that are available in the market. And their charge is typically around 0.42% when you invest through Efficient Portfolio. Again, there's different options we have here, but typically that'll be about the right cost. Then there's the underlying funds and investments they put you into. Now, of course, this does vary massively depending on the client, because it depends on the level of risk that you're investing with and the type of strategy you're investing. But a typical cost might be around 0.6%. And then you've got our ongoing fee for giving you the ongoing advice and making sure that your financial planning evolves with you rather than stagnating. And our fee varies from 0.5% up to 0.95%. I'll come back to that those levels of service in a minute, but that's what the ongoing fees vary for us. So the total expense ratio comes in around about 1.8% up to 2.3%, depending on the level of service that you want and the type of risk in your portfolio. If we compare that to, again, going direct to the fund. Now, of course, going direct to the fund, you've had no independent advice, you don't have an independent platform, you don't have an independent discretionary manager, but you're still paying a total expense ratio of 1.78%. And as I say, that is one of the funds that's in the portfolio and has been for a number of years. If you go to one of the largest firms of financial advisors in the country, your total expense ratio is between 2.1 and 2.3%. Now, in that example, again, you're not getting independent advice, you're not getting a discretionary manager looking after your money actively, and you're usually also not benefiting from things like lifetime cash flow forecasting. But you're still paying a total expense ratio equivalent to our highest level of service. Now, there's other areas that we might put into the financial plan for you. There's things like life insurance and income protection and things to make sure that if something unexpected happens, the financial plan of you and your loved ones isn't derailed. Now, of course, there's a thing called commission, which complicates things. We have a set, flat fee structure for protection, and that means that the commission that's generated from our advice is yours to keep. Now, most of our clients will use that to offset some or all of our fee, but typically, in most situations, that commission is more than our fee. So that means that you can use the commission to offset our fee, and anything that's left over is yours to keep or to use to offset other fees. Of course, all of this will be detailed in your plan once we know specifically what the advice is for you. Finally, for estate planning, things like wills, trusts, lasting powers of attorney, those sorts of things, then you will have a flat fee quoted in your plan that covers both our advice and time to implement it, but also the underlying legal costs of getting things like the trusts drawn up. So finally, I want to just touch on our ongoing service, the Progressive Review Programme, how we ensure our clients' money and financial planning progresses with them rather than gradually stagnating. So we want to see what we would call our clients at least on a yearly basis. We do take on customers where we're only doing the investments and we then leave it to the discretionary manager to manage those investments, but that's not much of what we do. Most people come to us because they realise that actually they need our ongoing advice to ensure that their financial planning does continue to evolve with them. And we've got 3 levels of service that we can provide: planning clients, family clients and private clients. In short summary, planning clients, we're doing a complete annual review once a year. We actually break it into 2 components. We do a workshop with clients in groups so we can cover all of the things like the legislation changes, the market update, financial planning opportunities, all those sorts of things we can cover in group format. And then you have a one-to-one, face-to-face meeting with your financial planner to ensure that you can cover all the stuff that's unique to you. If you do have something unexpected happen during the year, then you can also have an additional meeting, or even 2 if needed, with your financial planner at no extra cost because you're an ongoing client. If you then move up, and by the way, the charge for that goes from 0.5% to 0.75%. Most of the people we look at in Efficient Portfolio fall into what we call our family client service, And that's where we're seeing them again twice a year through both the workshop and the face-to-face meeting. But we're also sending them quarterly updates, and we're continuing to rebuild their lifetime cash flow forecast for them on an ongoing basis. Finally, there's private clients where there tends to be a little bit more complexity involved. The workshop doesn't tend to work so well, so we'll actually have 2 face-to-face meetings, plus they can come to the workshop if they want to, and again, if they need more meetings on top of that, those are available. For private clients, those are typically our wealthiest clients, but we can pick a level of service that's right for you. I hope that explains how we charge our fees and how we earn our money at Efficient Portfolio. We've always tried to be the most transparent we possibly can, and giving you this video on our website, giving you all this information up front, hopefully allows you to see that yes, you do need to pay us for the advice that we give, but as long as you're showing a profit, as long as you're getting better returns as a result after the cost of those fees, it's worth paying that. As always, if you're interested in booking one of the free finance calls with one of our financial planners, please just send us an email or pick up the phone. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much.